Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Byond Talk. Byond Talk, walking with purpose. The authentic self is the topic for today's conversation. And I'm Aaron George, and over here to my extreme right is the founder of Byond Talk, Ms. Sandra Turgott.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
And with us today are two very powerful ladies. To my far right, we have Dr. Nothabo Ncube. Did I say that right?
You came close today.
And closer to me. Actually, can you correct
So
that last name?
it's Nothabo Ncube.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Yes. You came close.
Okay, close. I've been practicing that.
Wow,
And secondly, we have Tiffany Parker.
that's me.
Awesome. Welcome,
Good evening,
ladies.
guys.
Glad you both are here today. We're looking forward to our conversation. And just so, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, just so you know who Byond Talk is, Byond Talk is a social mentoring forum, a place to engage our community in thought-provoking conversation about real-life issues, triumphs, pain, grief, growth, and success. This space is designed to inspire you and to foster transformation and healing. We believe life is a big classroom where teachers and learners are interchangeable. Our mission is to inspire you to go after your healing so you can transform. One of the greatest tragedies in life is to lose your authentic self and accept the version of you that is accepted by everyone else. Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we are supposed to be and embrace who we actually are.
Powerful.
So that's what we're talking about today.
That's right, the
Letting
authentic
go
self, letting
of
go.
who we think we're supposed to be and embrace who we're truly supposed to be. All right, amazing, amazing. So we're going to jump right into it. I see Tiffany looking at me like, what up, girl? So I'm going to jump right into it. And I want to ask the very, very simple question. We're going to start off with a question. So, Tiffany, I want to ask you, take your volume down. So, I want to ask you, that was Tiffany, you all, yeah, that was Tiffany's cell phone. Oh, sorry. So that's why I'm asking her the first question. That was a part of it.
I accept it.
Yes.
It's all me.
So, Tiffany, what does it mean to be authentic to you as it pertains to you, your life, your experiences?
Being authentic to me means to be me, to be all that I am at the core level, not based on societal norms, not based on who I'm expected to be, but to be simply who I am just because I am.
Powerful.
That is a great answer. How about you, Thabo?
For me, is to show up as I am in my truth, embracing the bad and good about myself, and just allowing my imperfect, perfect light to shine through, because I believe that when we show up in our truth, we allow other people to show up in their truth as well.
Yes.
We give permission for other people to shine their light regardless of where they've been from and the mistakes that they've made in the past.
Interesting. But so let's follow that. Let's follow that through. So you said if you show up in your truth, you're giving other people permission to show up in their truth. But a lot of times, because your truth is so imperfect, people don't accept it or receive it, and that's why people tend to hide who they truly are and just show up as everybody is. Like Tiffany said, I just wanna be, so I show up as I am. But we find that the reason why people wear so much mask in our society is because they're so afraid to be their authentic self, their true self, because they think if I just show up in my imperfect self and just show up in my bad, people are gonna judge me.
Right.
So can you speak to that, Dr. Thabo?
I feel that we've been conditioned to behave a certain way, and to maintain a certain I would say status quo as well in society, which is based on the labels that are imposed on us by our families and by our communities. And once we're able to shift from those labels
Right.
and to unlearn some of those things that we've been conditioned to believe about ourselves, that's the only time that we're able really to go within ourselves and allow our inner light to shine, owning our truth as it is.
That's an amazing answer. I love it. Did you guys hear that?
We did.
I think it's like, you did? You hear that, right? I hear that. Did you hear that, Aaron?
Sure did.
So you wanna jump in, Aaron? I don't want to leave you over there all lonely. You wanna jump
Oh,
in?
you're doing good. You're good.
Good.
Yeah.
You wanna jump in?
I mean,
No, you don't want to jump in.
I do want to say that really for me, being able to show up really as my authentic self is truly all that there is. And I think sometimes, I guess towards your question as to why some people don't, they've never been necessarily pushed to the space where their authentic self had to be risen higher than the outer appearance self. So for me, my authentic
is
sense
powerful.
is my greatest essence, that which has always been. It's my spirit self. So then it pushes you to live from that inside out space. How did I come to this space?
I love that. Inside
Coming to
out.
this space was really when in 2011, when all that I thought was me, based on that which was outside of me that I thought defined me, no longer was a part of me. I was forced to come into me. I was forced to embrace the true me. I was forced to recognize that the truth is all of that which is around me and outside me is not the true me.
No.
But the truth of who I am has always been. It's never changed. It remains the same, and it just is.
That is powerful.
That is amazing. And,
Yeah.
and that's how I totally feel and believe also. That there's a deeper and a greater space inside of you. And I call it the soul that is operating and just want to be and just to express on the outside.
Yeah.
But a lot of people trap that inside because
Right.
they're too afraid, thinking that, oh wow, I can't just be this big thing, or I must dim my light somehow, or dim myself so that I'll fit in. If I really just let go, can you imagine if everybody just let go and just be, like you said? What kind of world we would have, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it takes a lot of pressure off of us as well.
And it would. It would. Oh my goodness.
But I think for myself, I'm caught up in, for a time I was caught up in this self-judgment, and that fear of how people would see you
Would
and how
perceive
perceive
you.
your nature, and but you just got to detach from that, from other
Right.
people's opinion,
Right.
and just live and be true to yourself at
That's
the end of
it.
the day.
You're absolutely right. That's it.
And, to add on to what Aaron said, for me, I came to live through this space through some of my challenges and suffering, of course, and my trials, which I had to go through along in my journey. And life pushed me to the corner. I hit rock bottom. So everything that had always been working for me was no longer working.
I get it.
So that forced me to peel off the layers and start asking myself the big questions. Who are you? What are you here to do? And it was in those moments that I encountered God. And it was in that moment that I encountered my authentic self. So I've come to learn that sometimes when we don't pay attention to that God voice, to the spirit which resides inside of us, life is going to take us on a journey.
Yes.
So that way we come to remember that which we are. As Tiffany said,
Yeah.
it's that space which just is. God is.
Right.
So it's written in the stars. You already are that thing. It's just that sometimes because we don't listen, we don't pay attention to our spirit, we end up making the wrong decisions. We're running away from it. But then life is a beautiful way of bringing us full circle through pain, through
absolutely
challenges,
right.
through struggles.
I can resonate
So
with
all
that.
those things are our gifts, essentially, because they bring us to remembering our essence.
So
That is so deep.
that truly is.
Clap, clap. That is so deep. I love it. Oh my God,
Yeah.
you're so wise, and it's so true.
Yeah.
You're amazingly wise. I love it. So how does?
Yeah, no. What I feel what Nothabo was saying, right? Because sometimes we have an experience, you know, and we may take it the wrong way, you know, and fall into depression,
Right.
right? And just take it, I'm going to say, as a victim. You know, things happen to me, you know, but it's until, like you said, you start asking those questions, you awaken to, you know, there's got to be something greater in here.
For sure.
And start finding, start asking the questions, start leading towards, then you can see, hey,
Right, and you start recognizing that all of life has been working for you.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was never happening to you,
Right.
but for you. So life could bring you to that place of recognizing that which you've always been. Because I always say that the light in us has always been there since we're born.
Yes.
So it has been seeking to realize itself in and through us, but we're not giving it permission.
We're not giving it permission.
We're not giving it permission. We're the ones who hinder ourselves from allowing that light to shine,
And
you know?
And what would you say is not what is preventing us from getting to that point to give it permission to say
I think it's society.
society,
Right.
programming,
Society
right?
programming,
externally,
of
we're so
course,
externally
yes.
focused,
Yeah.
you know,
So there are certain expectations that are set on each and every one of us, whether it's our friends, it's family, it's community that we come from.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, for me, I'm a medical doctor by profession, so there was this expectation that I should go out into the world and become a doctor all my life,
Right.
you know. But yet I know that I had a deep yearning. There was a deeper calling, a higher calling on my life.
Right.
But for a long time, I was afraid to allow that light. And
Right,
truly,
right.
I was afraid because I didn't know how the world was going to receive me. You know, because to the world it doesn't make sense. So I think much of it is conditioning.
Right.
We're trying to fit into the mold of who we're supposed to be.
Yes.
And when we do that, we lose our divine mandate. We lose a part of ourselves. You know, so if only we could step out of
Yes.
that,
Yes.
of the expectations of who we should be, and allow our true selves to come alive.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So know that you're an authentic being,
Yeah.
right? And be bold and courageous and step away from the socialization, the
Yeah.
conditioning.
Yeah.
Because
Conditioning.
who you really are is
Right.
not there. It's right. It's
Yeah.
it's within. It's developing that your intuition, the part of you that knows.
Yes.
And that's going to guide you
Yes.
to live an authentic and true life.
Right. And it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It's interesting because as an intuitive guide and spiritual advisor, I'm pretty much that bridge between the human experience and the truth of who you are, the spirit self. So pain, like you always mention, is one of our greatest gift. It's not comfortable. No one likes it. You can be so evolved, but yet still when it hurts, it hurts.
It does.
Yes, it
Because
does.
there's a spirit self that has the knowing that, you know what, this is just a journey, this is a process that I'm going through. But the natural self, the human self, feels it on a different level.
Wow.
It feels it on a level where you're like, my God, what is this? Why am I experiencing this thing? So why is it that some people don't necessarily experience the authentic self? Again, the last time I was here, I said it, they have not experienced enough. There hasn't been enough that's perhaps
Enough trauma.
and enough hasn't
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
And
Enough
not that
pain.
I'm saying that it requires trauma only. I'm not saying that it requires
Yes.
trauma
Enough
only. But
aloneness.
as I
Yeah.
can
Enough
speak
whatever.
for myself, pain, hurt, and trauma was what brought me to the space of being the true me and embracing the true me.
Right.
Because had it not been for that, had I not recognized that there is the truth of who I am is not just this physical being and this person that I see on the outside,
Yes.
I wouldn't be here.
No.
I wouldn't, because so much has happened. So much has happened that tells me
Yeah.
I'm not enough. I don't measure up. At my age, I should be here. I should be there. I should have already accomplished that.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
what happens when you don't? What
And
happens when
should
you
just
don't?
cave and die
Yeah.
and fold up somewhere and be sad. That's what society tells you. Let me just shout out to our viewers. Of course, we have our super viewer, Vern. That's Mr. Aaron's wife. Hey, Vern.
Hey,
And
Dee.
of course, Nana is watching. And we have Robert. Hi, Robert. Hi, sweetie. Hi, Charmaine. And we have Charlie. Hi, Charlie. Charlie said perceived failures are actually powerful
Yeah.
resources.
That's
She
my
said
sister.
seek them and
Yeah.
use them. As John Maxwell says, she said fail forward. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Fail
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
That meaning fail if
Yeah.
you must, but do not give up. Keep moving.
She always
I like
has
that.
the
She
right
always has
things.
something amazing.
Something powerful
Thank
to say. Oh, you
you.
remember her from last week?
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
And then she
She
said,
is.
it all happens for you. Your
Yes.
pain will lead you to the pinnacle of your purpose.
Yes.
It's most likely, and as you say in quotes, parlance. So that's amazing, and she's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Pain. We talked about that last time. Pain
Yeah.
is supposed to lead you.
It's the launching pad.
But a lot of people don't get that, so they sit in the pain. The pain is not supposed to be constant or a place where you sit and take rest. And it's a constant thing happening all over, playing over in your head.
I
and
believe
you
it's
stay
supposed
there.
to propel
It's
you.
supposed to
Propel
move
you.
It's
Yeah.
supposed to move you
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
I don't
It's
believe
supposed
one
to.
is supposed to dismiss pain, though.
No.
I think
Yes, that's what we were talking
I
about
think
yesterday.
you should recognize it for what it is and
Feel it.
move through it consciously. Feeling it, being one with it.
Being one with it.
It's like mourning a loss. You know, to just tell you to get over it
Yeah.
is not.
don't you just
and
say
and,
that
and
when you say
personally,
that?
that is
Yeah.
why I am not necessarily all about just positive thinking, positive thinking, positive
Right.
thinking. I feel like we have to allow ourselves to go through the natural ebb and flows of
Sure.
life.
You're
That is
about honest
powerful.
thinking.
I'm about
Yes.
truly
Yes.
Love it.
just moving through what is, but in that moving through what is, recognizing that you do not have to be stuck there. As you guys were saying, you don't have to be stuck there. You are able to shift and to move beyond with time.
With time. And
With
time
time.
is a powerful
Allow yourself to
resource.
experience it, to feel the pain,
Time.
and allow it to serve a purpose in your life
Yes.
as well.
But while you're doing that, I really believe that while you're allowing, you should be expressing. I believe there's something in telling the truth about it. A lot of people stay there because they don't necessarily tell the truth
Yeah.
about what's happening. I believe when you express it and tell the truth about it, that's you being authentic. There's a release.
Yeah.
So you release yourself to be or to become or to move up.
Yeah.
Because every time you speak the truth about your pain or whatever you're going through, and it could be triumph too. Not only pain, it could be something amazingly great that you're going through. You don't keep it to yourself. I think you should really be expressive.
I would say that is true, Sandra, but I think it's important that you find a safe space
to express.
to express.
Yes.
Because it
Start
can,
another sentence. A safe place to express.
yes, you need to find a safe place. You need to find your Sandra, you know?
Yes, you need to
Somebody
find
who's healed, who's whole, who's on the journey, so that way they can receive your pain and allow you to heal in the process with them,
In the right way.
in the right way.
Yes.
What I'm
Yes.
hearing is, and this is through spirit, I'm hearing someone asking, who am I? Who am I? You are that which is. You have always been. You're not what you see in the mirror. You're not what you have. You're not your car. You're not your house.
You're more
you
than
are not your
that.
job. You simply are.
You are.
You are beyond time.
Space.
You are beyond space.
Yes.
You, my dear, have always been.
Everything you're supposed to be. That
Powerful.
is amazing. I don't think we talk about that enough, Tiffany, and I don't think people hear this and know this enough. And so people maneuver life looking for stuff, more stuff to fulfill them. And what you just said, I just pray that it really resonates, because that's the truth, and that's being authentic.
Yeah.
That's really it. It's that simple. Wow. Thank you.
Being one with all that is.
See, just knowing that you are. Wow. I have so many questions, but I can't even ask them. You guys are just on it. So I wanted to hear some of you guys' experiences. So tell our audience, tell our viewers what how your experiences have led you to this place of truth, of being authentic, of just being truthful to yourself. Like we said, it did take some pain, but name that. Maybe you can go for one, and Aaron can go for one, and Tabo can go for one. Just name an experience. Let our audience hear of something that did happen. So probably somebody out there is actually going through something right now, and they need to hear that, hey, this divorce or whatever it is,
That they go
it's
into.
not going to take my life. I'm not going to die.
Right.
This is going to uplift me. It's going to move me into a different place, but a better place. Can we speak to that? Can we share? You want to go, Aaron?
For me? Yeah, sure. Wow. Pain. It, when it arrives, it's very difficult to see beyond, to see tomorrow, to think about that I've always been, and I'm connected and I'm guided and all that kind of stuff, but once you get past it and you start asking the questions, that spirit, that guide that you have eventually makes things clear and makes sense to you, and you can connect with it. My pain happened 30 years ago, last March, and it's led me on a great, incredible self-discovery and growth, and I'm still growing, but it was that pain, that divorce, right? That and what it really made me become conscious and aware, and to face up to all the flaws that I was manifesting in the physical, and I wasn't even thinking about the spiritual. At that point in time, I don't think I really had a concept of, of spirit, of intuition. I know there was always that other voice, that guidance, telling you right from wrong, but it was greater than, just right from wrong. It's just a way of life, way of living, and always being able to just have that guidance.
But is it not beautiful that, Aaron, even though you didn't have a deep understanding of what spirit is, of what soul is, but even through that pain, you're being guided?
Yeah.
It was always there.
I see it
You
now.
just didn't recognize it for what it was, but it was there.
It was there.
Yeah.
And I think
Always.
it's what kept me alive.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I wanted to die.
Yeah.
I felt so bad because I did things that at that time I didn't think it was consistent with the person of who I was. I was a bad person. I did bad things. My wife packed up, emptied the apartment, went on her way. I went home to an empty apartment, and it hit me.
That
Said,
pushed you.
holy mackerel.
That's
What's
heavy.
happening?
Yeah.
That is heavy.
Anger, violent. I'm 23 years old. No self-control. It took that, that happening for me to start to asking those questions.
Right. So
what's
those
going on?
experiences cracked your heart open.
It cracked my heart open. I had to face up to the flaws.
Right.
Because, and I felt also that this wasn't me. What happened wasn't me.
Yeah.
And I felt somehow that I had to, I'm saying this now, but I had to redeem myself, because that's not how I wanted to live my life.
Right.
There was a lot of conflicts, internal conflicts, maybe things that I couldn't speak to.
Right.
And at that point in my life, I just lashed out, and it didn't work, right? And negative thinking and low self-esteem, and all that kind of stuff. So I took that happening, and then trying to figure out why.
Wow.
You know, so then,
How am I here?
yeah, yeah. So eventually, you know, I got to asking, what is my purpose? You know, what is my purpose? You know, I attended a few workshops, and you know, somebody says you already are on purpose.
Yeah, yeah. Through the prime,
Created on
yes.
Already are
Yeah.
on purpose. And I said, well, what does that mean? Already at purpose. What are you good
Yeah.
at? What do you like doing?
Yeah.
You know, but I think it's even greater than, you know, what do you like and what do you like doing? Purpose is it's much more than what you do,
No,
It's who
of
you
course,
are.
of
It's
course.
who you are.
It's who you are.
right? At your
you are.
core, at your
Yeah.
core. You know, knowing that, you know, I've learned so much. I mean, you are a creator. You are creating your experiences.
You are.
You know, you play a role in the experiences that you're having,
For sure.
right? And,
Yeah.
you know, realizing that, when I came to that realization, that's when things started to change for me.
Right.
You know, and,
Right.
I mean, I had depression, was depressed probably for a period of, you know, I would say 10 years, you know, just having to fight through it, you know, but realizing it, right, was when things started to change. You know? And I mean, my spiritual journey is still growing, it's ever
Still on
evolving.
the journey,
It's
yeah.
ever evolving, and
I read somewhere this past week, it said that you are being manifested.
Continually.
Yes. Continually.
Because until we exit this earth,
Right.
Yeah.
we're unfolding.
You're constantly
We're becoming.
evolving. You're evolving, and you're growing more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are.
You're
you
growing
actually-
more and more into your essence, right? Yeah.
You never get there. I don't think
No.
anybody has reached or
No.
arrived,
No.
and you never get there. But I think that the work is to continue to do it, to never stop. So why would you stop? Why would you be satisfied with here when
Yeah.
when you could actually just keep climbing?
Right.
And
Right.
and a lot of people at the place of pain, they stop. You hear people who are an age doesn't really matter.
No.
But when you hear a 65-year-old or 70-year-old says, I don't know what my purpose is, that breaks my heart.
It does. It does bring
Because I'm
my
like,
too,
darn
yeah.
it. You've been here a long time. It's 70 years.
Right.
And you don't know why you're here. That is sad. Because that person, like Tiffany said earlier, has not done the internal, has not gone in.
Right.
That person live here on surface.
They're
Because
playing safe.
Playing
Playing
safe.
safe, yeah.
Taking no risk. Because to go in and to
It's
to
hard,
kinda-
it's challenging,
really
it's
hard
painful.
to go in and unpack because people put things in us and they live there. Those things that are put in us, negative or positive, they live in there. And sometimes the positives or the negatives are so ugly, we don't want to go in to unpack it. But until you go in and turn yourself inside out and start unpacking that stuff, you really don't know who you are or why you're here.
And most
really
people
have to.
can't do it alone, right?
It's hard. And we're not saying doing it alone. That's why we have people like you. We have
Right.
Coach Aaron. There's no
Right.
doing it alone here. You know what I
And
said?
so
Nobody
today
can
we are
do it.
thankful for the pain that you went through.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't be experiencing the gift that you are, the healed gift that you are, if you didn't go through that.
Thank you. And
So
like
your
Rich-
purpose was always being manifested through your pain.
Yes.
And that's why now we get to encounter the gift that you are. And thank you for saying yes.
Thank you for saying yes. Answering the call.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Tiffany, you want to tell us your experience real quick?
As you guys were talking, though, I do want to say that unfortunately not everyone will know their purpose.
That's true. That's sad, but it's true.
In this lifetime.
And that is the reason why we're being called to have these conversations, to bring about consciousness and awareness that it is okay to ask these questions. I've heard it said before that you truly don't know what you don't know. If you don't have that natural flow, as in the sense of, you know, being that person who is inquisitive, or you ask a lot of questions, or you're hypersensitive in the sense of being completely aware of who you are, your surroundings, you just may never ask that. So again, I'm encouraging you today that if you don't know your purpose, to ask, who am I? Why am I here? Who am I? Why am I here? Who am I? Who am I? Why am I here?
What am I supposed to
And pay attention to the things that you're drawn to, the things you're passionate about. Because ultimately, that's what's going to lead you to your purpose.
The whispering side.
The whispers, the signs, yes.
Pattern, right?
Of course,
Whispering
yes.
side is always whispering.
They keep on calling us all the time till we pay attention. And when we don't, that's why we go through a cycle of pain because we're running away from who we are.
And a lot of times that translates into mental pain.
Of
Because you're
course.
frustrated with
Yeah.
your being because you're not being.
Yeah.
You're frustrated
Oof.
all the time. Yeah. Sometimes
Yes.
I say cool things sometimes.
You do, amen.
Yeah, and that's true. So we get frustrated. And we carry around that frustration. Have you just seen some people who walk around mad or sad all the time? Just and I always pick that up, that that person is carrying around a whole lot of frustration. And so I try not to keep that in. I talk about it. I get frustrated too. I was frustrated for so long at my job. You hear me talk about just quitting my job, just getting to that place. And even though I was afraid, I had to take the leap. And I think your sister said, fear is not a bad thing. Fear forward. Do it afraid. Because honestly, I went to the altar at church and I said, God, there was a song playing and I said, God, it ministered to me, and I get up and I go and I say, I'm going to step in this faith because I have to. I'm going to trust this fate.
Right.
And I did it afraid. So if somebody out there listening and you're thinking about doing it or just becoming who you really are and you're so afraid, just do it. As Tiffany said, ask the question, who am I and what am I supposed to do? And when you get that answer, go do it. Your life depends on it. Go do it. Am I talking to you? I'm on the camera. Go do it. Go do it.
I know you had asked me about, what is it that brought me to the authentic me? It's a lot of pain and hurt. I mean, as a young girl, I was always very sensitive. I was always very conscious and aware that there was something greater and bigger than myself. I've mentioned before that I've always felt like I was on the outside looking in. I was just so conscious and aware of everything. I was bullied growing up. I was called names. There were things that I wanted to be a part of that I just couldn't. So from that early age, it's like I had to push myself in a space that was beyond my natural human self. And at the time, I wouldn't know how to articulate that. But I was always just a kid that was
But you always knew you were being led.
There was always this consciousness and awareness. And deep in my heart, there was a level of specialness. Not that I'm better than anyone, but in spite of all the pain that I was experiencing in the world, there was a thing in my heart that says, you're unique, you're a little different, you're special.
You're special.
Fast forwarding to as an adult in 2011, when my relationship ended and I had to resign from my job because of pretty much experienced somewhat of a nervous breakdown. And I just couldn't cope anymore. And everything that I thought would have defined me, or everything that I thought would make me me, when it was taken away from me, I was blah. I felt empty. So it pulled me within myself. Even the very church that I went to and I tried to communicate with individuals there about my pain and how I was feeling, a lot of people couldn't relate.
It's another show.
They couldn't relate. So I was in this space of being alone. And you know what I said to myself? I said, God, I am going to trust that you are guiding me and that you are leading me. And I'm going to release everything that is attached to me now, and however it is that I show up, I will embrace it. Whatever it is that I become after releasing all of this and being true to myself and being true to what I feel is in my heart, I am going to embrace it. And this is how I've become, and it's a journey. I haven't arrived. It's a process. Would I say that there is that I have a gift? Yes, but it's we're just always unfolding. We're always shifting. We're always growing. We're always becoming. There's no one arriving.
And the
with
gift in itself is constantly evolving as well.
Constantly
Constantly
evolving.
evolving.
As you go deeper, it takes you deeper. Deeper and deeper and
It
deeper.
does. It does.
Amazing. That's an amazing. Thank you for being so vulnerable with that.
Yes, thank you.
That's
who
what
I
Byond
am.
is all about. Girl, you're going beyond.
I can't help it.
You go. It's okay.
I'm like, when I knew that I had to, I'm like, listen, God, don't be letting me tell people my business. Don't be inspiring me to say nothing that I'm going to be embarrassed about.
Yeah.
Because when I sit in this chair, I sit as pretty much as one to be used.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
why you're
scary.
here, girl.
A willing vessel.
That's why you're here. We want to attract people who understand that they're here to serve, to be used up.
Right.
That means when you leave here, you are used up. There's nothing left. You done. You empty out. So that's why you're here.
And when you can speak about your hurt,
Yes.
that's an evidence that you've been transformed.
Yeah.
You're no longer attached to that
Yeah.
that pain, and you
For
can
sure.
speak about it. You're free.
You're no longer in prison.
No longer in prison.
No.
Because shame is a prison.
It
As you
is.
say, what Thabo and I were talking about this, that this thing that we hide or we're we're shamed of because something happened. A lot of people live in that space of shame, and I believe
Yeah.
shame is a prison.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
shouldn't be living in shame. Get rid of it. Talk about it. But a matter of fact, I say I don't have secrets because I don't. I was
She
telling
says
Thabo,
that.
I don't have secrets. I don't keep secrets.
Yeah.
You might not know. Everybody
Yeah.
doesn't know everything, but somebody knows.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
knows. I don't keep anything in like that.
Yeah.
There's a friend that knows it. There's somebody that
Somebody
knows
that
it.
knows
Somebody
it,
that knows
right.
it. So I would say don't keep it. And as you said, find a
Yeah.
trust, find a place, a safe place.
A safe
to release
space.
it.
Yes.
Because it's going to free you. It's going to release your muscles. It's gonna make you relax. It's going to make you healthy. It's going to make you joyful. It's going to make you smile. Can I smile? It's going to make you smile. There's nothing to smile about.
Yeah.
Because that sense of freedom just gives you that juice. Every time you think about it.
Right.
Go for it. Tell me about your experience.
Wow. I've gone through a lot of different things in my journey so far. But first, I would love to say to the audience that your pain is your greatest gift. It was through the gift of my pain that I awakened to who I am. And the first painful experience that I remember was when my mother passed away, and I was 14 years old. And because of her death, I made a promise to her to become a doctor. Now, in that moment, I used the words, "Mama, I'm hopeful. I'll try by all means and I'll strive to be a doctor." And I was only 14. And for me, each time I look back at that moment, I recognize the power of what pain can do when we allow it to speak through to speak in and through us as us. That promise has served as a guiding light in my journey, as I wouldn't be here, taking me on a path where we moved to Canada, my family and I, living in community housing, being subjected to poverty, but also exposed to a lot of social ills, which could have also deterred me from my path. And I remember again when I was just starting medical school, the pain of not having money led me to sending my story to Oprah Winfrey. I never had any intentions of, meeting Oprah Winfrey or anything like that, but the thought came through a friend of mine who said, well, Oprah Winfrey is all about empowering the girl child through education. Maybe if you send your story there, you might land on something. So it was my pain in that moment of not having enough money that led me on a career trajectory that I would have never imagined possible for me. And, being also in a wrong relationship when I was 20-something, that in itself as well transformed me and brought me to a place of recognizing my voice for empowering the girl child and women at large. So I would say the thread of pain has been consistent and constant in my life. But I wouldn't be here as a healer, as a teacher, if it wasn't for everything that I've been through. And, it's true that sometimes as well what it does is it leads you to awakened human beings like Sandra, like you guys, Tiffany, Aaron. So what that has done for me is it allowed me to encounter my tribe. My tribe. And these are the people that keep me grounded. that support me, that are able to speak light and wisdom into my journey as well. So what happens as well is when you allow pain to transform you and to lead you to where you're supposed to be, there's a gift as well, because it aligns you with the right people who will be able to receive your gift, to receive your pain, but also to walk with you on that journey, because it's not easy. You cannot do it alone. You do need good support system that are going to stand with you as you walk this path, and as you also unfold and evolve into your highest yet to be. Yeah.
That is
Powerful,
amazing.
powerful.
That is
Healer and a
powerful.
teacher. That resonated well with me.
Me too.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
That's what we are.
Healers and we're teachers.
Yeah.
Everybody. That's what you are, Eric.
That's what I am.
Yes.
That's what I do.
That's what you
You know,
do.
that's
Yes.
that's authentic, right?
Yes,
You
yes.
know, and you know, like
Yes.
look, when my journey started, you know, years later, I started asking those questions, and I was wondering how am I gonna manifest, you know, my purpose? And I was thinking, man, I'm gonna be like Les Brown, you know. 1990, I came across Les Brown. I said, I want to be like Les Brown. I'm gonna be a corporate trainer, you know. So I went to school. I started Ryerson. I was gonna do some course in psychology and something like that. But, you know, I dropped it. Just didn't resonate with me in that course. But just through my own self-development, reading books and attending workshops and different seminars, that prepared me for an actual job as a trainer
Right.
in the workplace. I mean, I was working as a operations manager at back in 2005, and they said, Aaron, we want you to be a trainer, part-time trainer. So in 2006, I went and got certified to be a trainer in the workplace, and I said, okay, this is awesome. Now maybe I can upgrade my skills some more, and then I went and became a coach. So to acquire skills, now that I've had the practical experience, I got some theory behind it to help put me on that stage, right?
Yes,
To put me
yes.
on that stage. But life was the ultimate
I think
teacher.
so too. I was
and
about
the-
to say that, yeah.
And the guidance.
Of course.
Because, you know, like I said, when I first started having those questions, what is my purpose? You know, I didn't see it in black and white. But just through those different
Different milestones in
different
your
steps,
journey.
yeah, it just led me there. And it's just like, you know, just speaking it, you know, just being able to inspire, enlighten people, and
Right.
just leave them with a positive message,
Yeah.
an uplifting message. You know, you can't help
Yeah,
but speak, you know, to your authentic self,
for sure.
you know.
Yeah.
So let me jump in with this question, because I want to pick you guys' brain. So, do you agree that at some point we all wear some kind of mask? Do you agree?
We do.
I
We do.
So tell me about that, because we're talking about being vulnerable, being authentic.
Yeah.
But I think about this question because we live in a world, we live in a community. We go to church, right? Like Tiffany said, and at some point, somewhere, we wear that mask. So you want to speak to that? Who want to jump in and speak to that mask that we wear, and how we can unmask, totally unmask?
With honesty, it's for me. It's come to a space in my life where it's difficult to wear a mask,
Okay.
and if I'm not able to be my authentic, true self, I can't maintain the connection.
Don't want to go.
I
Amazing.
can't maintain the friendship because if I cannot just fully be who I am as I am,
Wow.
that's an issue for
That
me.
is powerful.
I believe the times that I was wearing a mask was when I didn't know that I was wearing a mask. I was being who I thought I needed to be,
Yeah.
not consciously, but simply
Yeah.
just being who I thought I wanted to, who I thought I needed to be, until life forced me to simply just be, because it became difficult and painful
To wear the mask.
to wear the mask.
To wear the
I
mask.
love your answer. You want to go for it? The short we have a version of it?
Not really. Not really. But you know, what I would say, I think most of us have been wearing a mask for a long time. For me, actually, let me speak for myself. But for a long time, I was wearing my mask, and I was afraid to show up in my truth, because I was afraid of how people would perceive me, society, the community that I'm coming from. I grew up having a perfect child syndrome, I'm not too sure if it's something that I internalized myself or it's something that my family imposed on me being the eldest child, where I was expected to do things the right way. You know, you go to school, you graduate, you get married, you buy a home and have a baby, right? And unfortunately, my life didn't unfold that way. I had a lot of highs and lows along my journey. And as a result of the things that I was expected to achieve at different milestones, I wore a mask because I was trying to be somebody that I'm not.
That you're not.
Right. Until I got to the place which Tiffany is talking about, where I just couldn't.
You just unmasked.
I just couldn't be the person that I wasn't.
Just get naked. Just unmasked.
Yes, and that for me was healing.
Oh.
I had moments when I was delivering talks, and this woman was crying, and then I started crying with her. And for me, that was a healing moment as well.
And that's another show.
Yeah.
Because some people can't handle when you cry. And
Yeah.
they say, oh, if you cry, you're not healed.
Yeah.
Seriously, I cry. I like
Yeah,
to cry.
I cry all the time.
hate to
I
cry.
cry all the
I
time.
don't
I'm
know,
very
I'm a
emotional,
crier.
you know?
I cry in my bathroom
Yeah.
sometimes, so nobody, so people just leave me alone. I go there and
Yeah.
cry. Crying is good. It keeps the muscles in my. I bawl. I
sure.
bawl.
But what I would say as well is that living a life without a mask has been
It's good.
one of the most peaceful things that have ever happened to me. It brings me so much joy. Now I'm no longer afraid. I think we spoke about it 2 weeks ago, Sandra, when we're talking about how nobody can use anything against me now. Everything that I've gone
Everything is
through,
out there,
everything
so
that
you
I've
come
done,
on. Yeah.
it's
Talk
out there
about
now.
Powerful.
And it's who I am.
That's the
And so now I'm comfortable with showing up and saying, this is who I am.
who I am.
I'm no longer judging that experience, neither am I labeling it. I'm seeing the good in going through that process because I recognize that I wouldn't be the compassionate, the loving human being that I am now. And more than anything, I wouldn't have stumbled on my purpose
I get that.
of using my voice to empower and change other people's lives. So I believe that it's all connected, you know. We just have to rise to it. And allow it to be,
Yes.
you know?
I want to ask you guys a few questions. You can only answer with one word.
Okay.
We're almost out of time.
Okay.
But so just one word. So I am most vulnerable when? Tiffany, I'm most vulnerable when?
I'm weak.
Right. I'm most vulnerable when?
When I'm sharing my failures, the mistakes I've done.
That's good. One word you were supposed to answer with, you know, Dr.
Oh,
Tabo.
okay.
Just one word.
Sorry, ma'am.
I get sensitive when? I get sensitive when?
When I say, this is me. And I know that's more than one word.
I like it though. You stop. I'm more sensitive when? I like it. This is me. I love it.
When I'm not being me.
So, what advice would you give your 19-year-old self? One word. Or it could be two. Be something, whatever.
This one word thing, Sandra, it's not working for speakers.
One word thing. One word thing. One word.
Yeah.
I would say, my 19-year-old self. What advice would I give my 19-year-old self? Okay, make it one sentence. Come on.
That's better.
Make this one sentence.
Is it okay if I stick to one word?
Yeah, you can do one word.
Trust.
Trust. See, we can do one word, Tabo. I love it.
You're being guided.
You've been guided.
You've always been guided.
Oh, wow. What are you most afraid of?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No. It's important that you take that as it is coming because I sat with it for a
Nothing.
moment.
I love it.
No, I sat with it for a moment.
I like it. Taba, what are you most afraid of? I love it.
Shortchanging my destiny.
Shortchanging your destiny. Powerful.
Not living up to
I get it.
my highest potential.
Not living up to- Wow. Erin,
Not
do you have a word
living,
for that?
yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Do I have a word for that?
Yeah. What are you most afraid
What
of?
am I afraid of? Running out of time.
Running out of time. I thought you were okay with dying. That's another show. Right. Didn't he say he's okay with dying?
He did.
He was afraid of running out of time. Tiffany, he's not good, you know. Didn't he say he's
Yes.
okay with that?
Got a lot
and
to
I
do.
was afraid
I'm
of
on your
running out of
side,
Right.
okay? I am on your side.
Aaron,
I just said that
We
to
still
Buck
have
too.
time. We have 6
Well,
minutes.
yeah. So I think Tiffany touched on who are you, because I have that for one word or a sentence. Who would you say you are?
I just am.
Just am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I
am,
am
I
all
am,
that.
I
am.
You know what? Actually, I am one with all that is.
I am
Yes.
one with all that
I'm
is.
one with all that
I
is. All of
am.
it. The abundance in the world.
I
All
am
of
an
it.
energetic, expressive, assertive, and enlightened man
Boo,
forever.
boo, boo.
Amazing.
You are
Forever.
Aaron. He's not single, you are. He's not single. Aaron is not single. I know, those words are deep, Aaron.
Yeah.
Well, you ain't single. You need to tell the people watching. His wife is watching too. I like to say, I like when somebody massage me with words. Because that's so powerful what you just said, what you all just said. And if somebody just stopped to think about that, oh my God, that's like food. You know, like that sitting at a table and having real food. You guys just said some powerful things. And I just hope that our audience get it. Get it. Yeah. All right. So, Aaron, we're kind of wrapping up. So,
Awesome.
when is our next show?
Our next show is on February the 15th.
It's February.
The day after
14th.
Valentine's.
Not on Valentine's Day. Are we going to do it on Valentine's?
I'm not around, so I put February 7th, which is next Friday, because
No.
I'm going to be traveling.
Really?
I'm not around on the 15th, but unless you can
Mama
do the
Bear,
show,
are you traveling?
I can't tell you here.
You know
Yes,
what?
Go ahead.
I honestly feel called to say, can you connect with yourself? Connect with the truth of who you are. When you rise in the morning, it doesn't have to be in any specific way. It could just be the couple of seconds before you get out of bed. Just be one with that stillness. Be one with that which is. And if you're not sure what that thing is, connect with any one of us. We'll be more than happy to guide you or to provide you with some insight as to how do you connect with that? How do you come into that? Really, in essence, connecting with that is truly connecting to the authentic you. So I felt called to say that. I feel like, you know what, those who are watching, it's you know, they're listening to everything we're saying and they're like, you know, how do I do that? How do I become that? Well, know that, as Aaron said earlier, that, you know, your purpose is always unfolding. How you become that, you always have been. It's really just you coming into that level of consciousness and recognizing it. And in recognizing it, it allows it to speak louder and for you to be one with it.
Amazing.
Powerful.
Amazing.
I would also say,
We also have some tips.
you know, forgive yourself. Don't beat up yourself. You know, we all make mistakes. It's part of life. It's part of learning. It's part of the journey, part of the process.
Wow.
Forgive yourself. Love yourself. Accept yourself. If you're not there, work on building it. Because you are powerful. You are beyond limits. Right? Just come into oneness with who you are, your essence. It's always there, always been with you. He just wants you to wake up and start listening and being honest with yourself and connecting with authentic you. There's nothing greater. There's no greater journey in this life than to connecting to your authentic self. It's not about making $1 million or living in a big house or having a flashy car. It's about connecting with you. And once you're connected with you, you live an unlimited life. No more obstacles.
Powerful.
And I would say cultivate the ability to be imperfect. Because a lot of times it's us trying to be perfect that keep us from entertaining ourselves. We don't like ourselves because we're not perfect. But being
And we
perfect
disqualify ourselves
because
again
we're not perfect.
because we're not
Be
perfect.
okay with being imperfect.
Perfect,
And
right.
we're understanding that we're perfect beings. Becoming. we're moving forward, but we're not perfect. And when you can sit with that and rest with that and be friends with that, I like to say, then be at peace with that,
Right.
rest in that,
Right.
that you're imperfect.
Be one with it.
Be
Flow
one
with
with
it. Trust it. You know.
Hallelujah.
Awesome.
Can I say that? Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
I would say trust yourself, trust God in you, trust the process. You've always been guided from birth. Everything that is happening ultimately is happening for you. Nothing that you've been through was happening against you. Life has always been for you.
It's for you.
Yeah.
Yes, amazing. So you want to do the thank you? And
Yes, so
we're
we
gonna be
just
closing out.
want to thank all our viewers, those on Facebook Live and those on DORC Radio. We also want to thank Abadork Productions. Thank you, Chief, for this platform. We really appreciate the opportunity and being able to get this message out there to the crowd, to the masses. And we want to thank our special guest, lovely Tiffany Parker, Lady Wisdom. We call you that.
Yeah.
Intuitive guide and spiritual
advisor.
We really appreciate the conversation today. We thank you both for the depth of the conversation. I mean, like I said, I've been on my journey for 30 years, but I'm still learning every time I get together with you. Dr. Nothabo, again, appreciate you being here and sharing with us and helping us to get to another level. So we look forward to seeing you guys again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for having us.
It's our pleasure.
It's always good being here.
It's
Yeah.
our pleasure.
You
And
guys, we're a tribe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And can I
Yeah.
say that, you know what, this platform that you guys, I mean, when I posted the flyer, I mentioned that it was groundbreaking, and I genuinely do believe that. You know, you guys are having the conversations that need to be had, and you're connecting with the deep, and you're connecting with the time, and I think that this time right now is an amazing time to be alive, and I'm just in awe, and I'm full with gratitude to really be a part of this experience.
Amazing.
So
And
Thank you all.
to my dear friend Aaron. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I don't need to thank me, but thank you.
I'll thank you. I thank you for creating, for birthing Beyond Talk. You know, they say if you build it, they will come. And here we are.
Yes.
Thank you, Sandra.
Yeah.
And I know we don't have much time left, but again, we just want to thank all our viewers and know that you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram. You guys want to all say your angles?
So Instagram at Dr. Thabo, and Facebook it's Nothabo Ncube, Nothabo Ncube, and Twitter at Dr. Thabo.
Excellent.
through Instagram, I'm Lady Wisdom Intuitive Guide, and through Facebook, I'm Tiffany Parker, aka Lady Wisdom.
Awesome. Well, thank you all again. And our next show, stay tuned. We will be advertising our next show.
Stay tuned.
Thank you all once again. Have a great evening.
Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye.
See you next time, guys.